Nebraska spring practice started yesterday, and you already can hear the storylines. Dylan Raiola, Marcus Satterfield's offense, this defense evolving to a top 20 unit. But there are a couple storylines that nobody is talking about, particularly some of the sleeper players on the Huskers roster. In this video, I have compiled 5 names that you probably don't know, but you want to keep your eyes on over the next 2 months because they're going to make waves and potentially be big breakout players throughout 2024. So real quick, if you like the content, please hit the like button on this video. It really helps me out, and it's completely free, along with subscribing to the channel if you don't want to miss out on the best Nebraska football content on this app. Nobody's making as much Nebraska football content, so again, please hit that subscribe button. But without further ado, let's get into it, talking about some of the breakout players for Nebraska throughout March and April. And right off the bat, I'm not going to talk about Dylan Raiola in this video. I know everybody's going to want to put him as the most intriguing player or as a breakout player. That's the obvious storyline. I'm going to be looking for players that nobody is talking about that are really under the radar. So with that being said, let's get into my number 1 player throughout March and April you're going to want to keep your eyes on. And this is wide receiver, redshirt freshman Demetrius Bell. Now, this is a guy, again, who redshirted last year, but was a 4-star coming out of high school. And when you talk about the incoming freshmen from last year, we had Demetrius Bell, of course. We had Malachi Coleman, Jaden Doss, Jalen Lloyd. It was a stacked freshman wide receiver class, and a lot of people projected, including me, for Demetrius Bell to actually be the best of the bunch. When you watch him on film from his high school days, super quick receiver, really good frame, good size, and he potentially has the best route running on the team. Not only that, but this is a guy who's went viral over the offseason through some of his training clips of him going through drills and showing off his hands and athleticism. This guy, again, already a fan favorite, a guy that a lot of people have expectations for. And I expect Demetrius Bell to potentially take some people's positions and really get his way up in the depth chart to make it some big contributions throughout 2024. And again, not to mention, if you want to know anything about him, he's a speed demon. He has great frame, great route running, and he added about 10 pounds of weight over the last year. Again, really hit the weight room, really learned the playbook. So get ready for Demetrius Bell to make a big impact. Number 2 is sophomore Ethan Nation going into his second year. And right off the bat, this guy was a cornerback for us. He returned punts for us last season. He's such a great athlete where Matt Rule and Evan Cooper and Tony White, they were just finding ways to get him on the field. You need to get guys like him on the field because they're so athletically gifted and they have such a high ceiling. Ethan Nation, I mean, you watch him on film, again, from his high school days. He was a 4-star, one of the more athletically gifted cornerbacks we've ever seen with the program. And this is, as a Nebraska unit that has turned out a bunch of good secondary members into the NFL over the last 5-10 years. So Ethan Nation has a really, really good ceiling. I expect him to make a really big jump, and I'm super, super excited about him, not only in the secondary as a man-to-man press cornerback, but potentially returning kicks. He has that home run ability that we've been looking for since DeMornay Pearsonell about a decade ago. So that's my second guy. Now, this is probably my biggest sleeper going forward. Nobody's talking about him. He is a true freshman, and this is Vincent Shavers. So about a month or 2 ago, I did my film reaction about Vincent Shavers, and I made a claim in that video. I said, this guy's not redshirting. He will play immediately, and everything that you've ever heard about him going forward, people are just so amped up about Vincent Shavers. I was watching a couple press conferences when they started off spring ball, and they were interviewing some of the players, and they kept mentioning Vincent Shavers, how great he looks in drills, how athletically gifted he is. He's just dominating. He doesn't look like a true freshman. And again, you watched him on film. He was a guy who was a jack of all trades from Miami. He could edge rush. He could play traditional linebacker. He has great speed, great quickness, great tackling ability. So a guy who could play all over this defense, that's what you're looking for from a Tony White linebacker. But this all kind of intensified about a couple weeks ago when Vincent Shavers' dad tweeted out that he's been running with the ones in practice, and Matt Rule is expecting for him to really make a big jump throughout spring ball to potentially, again, not be redshirted, potentially play as a true freshman. So Vincent Shavers, man, I'm super excited about him. I do not expect him to redshirt. I think he'll play immediately. One of those guys like Cameron Lenhard, who did not redshirt last year, or Prince Wamamulam, who didn't redshirt either. He's going to make an impact just like those two. The one thing I love about Matt Rule is He doesn't care if he's not going to redshirt you if you're a stud. That's something Scott Frost did not do. Scott Frost would always redshirt his players, and which was terrible because we'd have a lot of talented players who we wouldn't use. Matt Rule says, if you're talented enough and you're learning the playbook, I'm going to put you on the field. So Vincent Shavers, super excited about him. Now let's get into my fourth my guy, sticking with the linebacker groups. And this was actually one of my guys last year, and this is Mekhi Gabayer. This is a point where I pat myself on the back a little bit here because I counted him as one of my guys last year. He didn't have any playing time until 2023, and he played a lot throughout last season. He played every single game. He started 4 times. He compiled 24 total tackles. But the reason why I'm putting him on here again is because of the fact that the linebacker room is so wide open going into the fall. We lost, of course, our 2 most productive linebackers, that being Luke Reimer and Nick Henrich. And Mekhi Gabayer fits this defense, the 3-3-5. He has the ability to just make plays all over the field. He's one of those Levante David type guys where he just sniffs out the football. I expect him to be our number 1 linebacker this fall. That's how good I think he is, and that's how great his ceiling is. Mekhi Gabayer, a lot of people aren't talking about him. I don't know why, because this is potentially going to be your leading tackler in 2024. Such a good player. Watch out for him. So that is number 4. Now let's get into number 5. I know I was going to talk about guys who are under the radar, but I had to put him at number 5. It's Jamal Banks. What more can be said about this kid? From the wide receiver transfer from Wake Forest, we talk about some of the past wide receiver transfers we've got, whether that's Samori Toure from Montana or Trey Palmer from LSU. Both of those guys had productive careers here at Nebraska and were drafted in the NFL. Jamal Banks might be better than both of them. That's how good he is. Think about how great Trey Palmer was. Jamal Banks might just be a lot better. Jamal Banks might be a first-round pick type good. Again, you watch him on film, 6'4", 210 pounds. A guy who had 800 yards last year. He probably would have got 1,000 if he had competent quarterback play. And somebody who you listen to Matt Rule talk, any of his interviews, his press conferences, he's one of the first guys that Matt Rule mentions as just a straight-up leader. He's going to be a single-digit guy. He's going to be a captain. Jamal Banks, man, the hype is real. The hype is real about this guy. He is your wide receiver 1. I know we all love Malika Coleman. We all love Jalen Lloyd. We all love Isaiah Nair, who's coming in as a transfer from Texas. And those guys are going to get a lot of opportunities throughout this year. But Jamal Banks is your wide receiver 1. He's your leader in yards this year. He's your leader in catches. Drink the Kool-Aid about him. If anybody on this roster you're going to drink the Kool-Aid about, Jamal Banks is going to be a guy for Nebraska. So those are my 5 guys to watch out for. I'm really amped up. But here, I'm going to mention a couple honorable mentions going forward with Nebraska. Number 1 is Daniel Kaelin, a true freshman in from Bellevue West. And Daniel Kaelin's been playing really good throughout spring ball already, throughout some of his conditioning. A lot better than I thought he would. Daniel Kaelin, I think he's a lot of a raw prospect. People are expecting a little bit too much from him. At least that was my opinion watching him at Bellevue West. He had a lot of growth to do, but he's been playing well. A lot of people think he might actually give Raiola a run for his money. Now, I don't truly believe that, but I think Daniel Kaelin, if he needs to jump in there as the backup next year, he's going to play very admirably. So that's one of my honorable mentions. Gunnar Gatula is another guy, offensive lineman going into his second year. He's going to crack the 2 deep. I love his future for Nebraska. He might even start this year. Larry Tarver, true freshman cornerback from Miami, another guy that people keep talking about as one of the most just jaw-dropping freshmen. Guy who just keeps making plays. So really excited about Larry Tarver. I had another film reaction about him, so check that out. And the last honorable mention I'm gonna go over is Justin Evans Jenkins, offensive lineman, plays guard and center. He played a lot for the Cornhuskers last year, and nobody's talking about him, but he was probably our best lineman last year. That's how good Justin Evans Jenkins was. He's gonna probably start this year consistently. Very, very bright future, guys. The trenches are looking good for Nebraska. So Justin Evans Jenkins going to really contribute once again for the pipeline. So that is my list. Again, we went over the top 5 players along with some honorable mentions. Let me know down below. Are there some guys that I didn't mention that you're keeping an eye out for in spring ball? Man, I'm getting super excited. This roster is looking not only talented guys, but it's looking deep. I feel very confident not only about some of the older players, but the younger true freshmen, second-year players for the Cornhuskers. So once again, let me know that down below. But as always, folks, please hit the like button and subscribe if you don't want to miss out on any more Nebraska football content. Go Big Red, go Matt Rule, and see you in the next one.